Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Dead by Daylight in its current state. So a lot of issues have been arising about if Dead by Daylight's going to be dying soon, if it's going to be possibly replaced by another competitor, and I decided that I kind of wanted to give a rant style video on my thoughts about it. I have like a little list, I made like a list in like 5 minutes about my opinions about what could change and what I feel like is not that bad. Uh, so let's see. For like my number one point, about what is really bad in Dead by Daylight, I feel like is just revenue being the number one goal. Obviously, to have a game, you gotta fund it. You gotta have, the proper amount, to basically make off of a game. You have to have some type of value, and that's not inherently a bad thing. That's not my point that I'm trying to make. My point that I'm trying to make is I feel like they're in such a deep hole right now that they don't like have a way out of it. As in, they just have to keep cranking out killers that people want to buy, just so they can actually make money and actually pay off their licensing. I feel like another big part about that is the Shrine of Secrets. I feel like it's not updated enough, and I feel like they focus on a lot of the newer killers instead of some of the older killers that people really want. Like, I remember watching a Mint Skull video. Shout out to him. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. But I heard a thing from Mint Skull basically saying that they haven't actually had Starstruck, like one of Trickster's perks, since like 2021. That was 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. And I'm sure there's other perks like maybe Coup de Grace, not Coup de Grace. I keep watching some videos. Maybe Coup de Grace that hasn't been in there since before that because no one plays twins. Everyone hates her. They only like their perks. But I feel like that's just not that good of a thing. I feel like they should change it because a lot of this game isn't exactly pay to win. It's pay to not work. It's just pay to not grind. And I don't like that. Another thing is most of the killers that have been coming out are too convoluted to really learn, or they're half-baked, in my opinion. Like, let's see, the Crossu. I've played against the Crossu maybe 20, 30 times. I haven't played Dead by Daylight in a while. But a lot of it has just been pretty easy for the killer, in my opinion. I feel like her powers are very easy, and I feel like it's very hard to go against. Easily one of the top S tier killers so far. And I feel like they already have released a thing where they nerfed some of her powers, which I feel like is fine. And also, let's see, like also the Ghoul. The Ghoul was pretty difficult to go against for a while there. He still is, in my opinion. He still has some things that are too powerful about him. But I haven't actually gone against too many ghouls, so I can't really give an opinion on it. I just know that they nerfed him a lot. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the whole Myers rework. I know, like, a lot of people are saying it's good. I'm not a fan of it, just because I don't feel like it represents the killer in a proper light. And you could just say that I'm bitching about it, and you would be completely right. But I feel like Myers was already strong enough beforehand. He was an M1 killer, and I feel like his powers were already just fine. Like, I don't really main Myers, but I do play him a lot, and I've lost one match with him. And that was against a Toxic Swift. That's actually a video where I had a no perk Myers, and I went up against a Toxic Swift whenever I didn't use my powers at all. So that was 1,000% my fault, but I don't understand why he got a rework. Like, he wasn't a bad killer, like, at all. And it just didn't make sense, especially with this whole slaughtering dash or whatever it was. That was stupid in my opinion. Like, why was that a thing? But yeah. The second point that I wanted to make is their AI affiliation. They put out a blog post a while ago on the official behavior website for Dead by Daylight, basically saying that they wanted a senior AI artist. What's up with that behavior? I feel like it takes away from actual artists that put time and effort into making actual killers. Like, shit, I can come up with like 3 killer ideas like on my own right now that behavior probably won't even look at. But my point being is that they want to outsource it. They want to outsource a lot of their work, maybe even some of the fuck ups that they made with certain killers. They want to outsource it to AI. And obviously they put out a post basically saying that that's not what they wanted it for. I feel like that makes no sense. Why would you put out a post saying that you wanted an AI artist and then say that they don't want it for AI? That's fucking stupid. That doesn't make any sense. I just don't understand why they would say that, and it doesn't make any sense at all. But I feel like the main point about it is are saying that uh, people are saying that they wanted to do it because they wanted to cut down on positions. I completely agree with that, and I just feel like they're taking actual work from good AI artists. It's just a simple thing of a big company trying to cut down on its Sorry, I'm watching my video recording. It's just a simple thing of a company trying to cut down on its bottom end, and I don't like it. Another thing was The Walking Dead. That whole live stream was absolute trash. Like the entire thing made no sense. They had to end it early because they kept getting just trash killers that would completely fuck over the entire thing. And it was hilarious, especially because like popular YouTuber named Otsderva actually fixed the issue for them without like making any real notice of it. And then they immediately said no, kicked out all of his friends, and then just basically screwed it over, and it just was absolute anarchy. It was just trash, and I just don't understand why they would do something like that. But still, they did it, and there's no going back from that. The entire thing was just terrible. And also, Carl from The Walking Dead, he was completely just disrespected in that, in my opinion. Anyway, but let's see here. They made a lot of things about pathing for the game, about certain killers and their powers. Like number one with the Crossu. There's been a bunch of issues with that, and people are still saying even after her little rework, even after her little nerf, she's still way too powerful. I haven't actually played that many games against her. The games that I have played against her, I've played against low MMR killers, and I've won them all. I feel like they did good. I feel like it shouldn't be just so easy as in you play against a killer and you always win. I feel like that's not good for either side. I feel like it should be a 50-50. But my whole issue with that is just the MMR. I feel like the MMR for certain killers, or sorry, for certain ranks just makes no sense. Like I've seen some players like that were like just brand new to the game, and they go up against like a Swift. Like me and my friends, we try not to be toxic. Usually, like if we know that we were kind of toxic in a game, we usually don't survive. We try to kill ourselves like on hook and stuff like that, which I feel like is just fine. Um, but like I've seen like a lot of brand new killers go against like really difficult survivors to go against, like especially toxic Swifts. That's been a really big issue recently, and I don't like it, especially because now whenever the new PTB in January comes out, it's going to make it basically nigh impossible to avoid them, which is just kind of sucky. Like most of the time, I don't think I've had a game where I've had like all of my team slugged, maybe 2 games in total, where everyone was just slugged on the ground and they were killer was just waiting for us to bleed out. That doesn't happen to me, like at all. Obviously, other people have different views upon that. Other people have different gaming experiences, which is just fine. But I feel like the new thing that they came out with, especially on the PTB with the cross zone, was half baked, and also like the quality of life update with the quality of life update for the quality of life update made no fucking sense. And I feel like they'd made a good decision with just kind of taking a step back and really just looking at it and just kind of going over their decisions. And I feel like that'd be a good idea. And I really just hope that I really hope that they make a difference. That'd be a pretty good thing. My other issue was the PTB. That was like as a whole just not good. They came out with a really strong killer that wasn't that fun to go against, with really half baked ideas for how survivors can get off the ground and stuff like that after like 30 seconds. That was horrible. That was just really, really bad to go against. And those are like my 5 biggest things, or like I guess 6 because I added an extra point. Those are like my 6 biggest things, which are wrong in the game right now. There's more points that I could have made, but I feel like these are the core ones that are really holding the game back. And I actually had a little list of stuff that they could do to just make the game better, make it more playable, more bearable. Because right now, like, I log into the game, I wait like 30 seconds, and I just think about it, and then I log off. I don't like playing right now. I still do it for YouTube videos, but it's just in a bad spot right now. And I feel like after January, if they don't fix it, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people just dropping the game completely. And that's not a good thing. So these are like my top 5 ideas. Once again, these are kind of just pipe dreams. They aren't exactly something that they can be like, oh, that's genius and implement tomorrow. But I feel like with enough thought and consideration, these would be the best ideas. Number 1, just longer PTBs and also longer times in between. Like instead of like one PTB like every what was it like every month or two, make it like every like 3 months. Make it every 3 months, and instead of it being like a 2 week period, make it like a 1 month period. Because a lot of the issues that have arisen are because of half-baked PTBs that were made, and then they take barely any notes on it, and then they just ship the game as is, and then people complain, and then they go after the PTB and fix everything. And I feel like if they just had a longer PTB and changed stuff actively during the PTB instead of afterward, it would fix a lot of the issues. And that's just been a big thing. I know a lot of people have advocated for this. It's just making the PTBs longer and making the time in between the PTBs longer. It just doesn't make any sense to try and crank them out every single month. It just doesn't make any sense. My second biggest thing is focus on the bugs of the game, and also focus on the pallet density. The pallet density right now after the update is absolutely abysmal. Quiet Kills, another big popular YouTuber, actually made a video going over that where he logged into a few maps and he went and looked at it and explained why a lot of the pallet densities are an issue. I feel like if they were to just focus on the bugs, like how Deathslinger can't shoot through half the stuff, how there's a bunch of invisible walls. Like the only invisible walls that really should be there is Skybilly walls, and I feel like that's completely fine. But there's plenty of bugs that just didn't make any sense why they were there, and they have refused to fix them for years, and they're still very prominent in the game. Like number one, a lot of the bugs where you're running and like say you're looping the killer or you're trying to catch up to a survivor, and you hit a random wall, like around a barrel, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe smooth them out, and I feel like that would fix a lot of the issues. It's really just issues with just like small little barriers that are clearly in the game, and they just haven't fixed because they haven't gotten to it, and it really just affects the gameplay. And I feel like not a lot of people are talking about it. Also, some of the perks are still bugged, and some of them are just outright trash now. Like, get rid of like 30% of the perks. I feel like if you just got rid of like most of the perks, kept like the base, strong base perks for both sides, and then updated them instead of just like adding 3 new perks per PTB, I feel like that would make a lot of difference. Or maybe get rid of a lot of the perks, and then for each new killer that you bring in, like re-release perks that have been reworked. I feel like that would do a lot of good. Other than maybe some possible issues with licensing, I feel like a lot of websites would have some issues with that. Like I don't know, possibly Myers, how he has some perks. I feel like if you took those away, reworked them, and then whenever a new killer got released, maybe re-release those perks for Michael and make him better. I feel like that would do a lot of good. But yeah, for my fourth thing, basically just focus on non-convoluted powers. Like, I don't know how exactly I'm gonna do it. This is gonna be a post debulk job. But if you look up the powers for, let's see, like Trapper, basic killer. If you look up the powers for Trapper, and then you look up the killers for the Ghoul and put them side by side, it's like paragraphs, dude. It's like paragraphs extra. It's because a lot of the powers that have been done are already new. Also, not to mention like the whole thing with teleporting powers or fast travel powers. Those are going to be an issue. Like what? Like 4 of the new killers. Let's see here. We got Chucky, Ghoul. Crossu doesn't really have it, but Chucky, Ghoul. Gosh. Even like the Singularity and also the Mastermind. They basically all have around the same powers. Let's see. The Singularities is a bit different. I'm talking about whenever he shoots you with that orb and then he spawns right behind you. I feel like that's an issue, like how fast he's going. It's not really an issue, but it's an issue about how little thought goes into the perks. It makes sense with the Mastermind because in the original Resident Evil games, whenever you went up against Wesker, he did that exact same power. And that just made more sense. But I feel like they gotta start working on different powers. And let's see. Obviously, the biggest issue of all for killers specifically is focusing on the power vacuums. Like, let's see, the best killer in the game, Nurse, versus the worst killer in the game, which is Trapper. Or, well, I would say Twins, but a lot of people, like, the easiest one to learn is Trapper. And I feel like the power vacuum between that is nuts. Like, I've seen some pretty good Trapper players, Trapper mains, and some really, really bad Nurse players, and most of the time that I've gone up against really bad Nurse players, I've won. And most of the time that I've gone up against really good Trappers, I've won. And it's just that issue. It's just, like, the issue between them. The reason why I believe it exists is because both are free. And if they were to make the Trapper a little bit stronger, or if they were to make the Nurse a little bit weaker, they would lose that edge in the argument of the game is basically pay to win. Which is another big issue. Losing the edge in the argument of the game is pay to win. That'd be a big thing because the best killer in the game right now is Nurse. It has been for a very long time, arguably Blight as well. And I feel like if they were to lose that, they would have no argument about the game being pay to win, especially with the other things, like how a lot of the perks you have to buy. You have to buy the killer just to get the perks. I feel like that should not be a thing at all. I feel like you should have the killers. I feel like you should have all the perks base kit, or not base kit, but you can get all the perks through the Blood Web. But yeah, those are kind of like my 10 things about it. I'm gonna make another video on it with more details. This was just a rant video that I wanted to get out because it's been bugging me for a very long time. But yeah, if you guys want to see more content going over certain perks and stuff like that, I planned on doing it. I plan on going over certain perks that just shouldn't be in the game because they're pretty bad. Because there's like what, over 400 or 500 perks in the game already now. But yeah, if you guys want to see that video, please like and subscribe. Please comment saying that you guys want to see that. I've been trying to get my viewer retention up, and I've been trying to do a little bit better, just trying to post better videos. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next one.